Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very special episode of That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. I am your host, Bill Yankovi, and I guess we could call this episode 528 and a half, or 529 and a half, depending on what last episode was, because you know what? I'm excited. It's WrestleMania weekend. It's the biggest weekend of the entire year in the world of professional wrestling. And we are here. We have finally made it, ladies and gentlemen. We have finally made it to this weekend. The biggest wrestling weekend of the year. WrestleMania weekend. This Saturday, this Sunday. It's all going to happen. History will no doubt be made in Dallas, Texas, with one of the biggest main events that WrestleMania has had in recent memory. So, real quick, like I said, this week's episode is going to be 529 and a half, because there's so much going on that I really want to focus on the picks for WrestleMania, because I'm going to be plugging some stuff at the end that I think you all should check out, but I want to do for this episode my predictions for WrestleMania 38 and just go through the entire card and make my predictions on each of the matches. So before I get to that, there are two matches that are taking place on Smackdown tonight that have some ramifications in a way. I'll go through them real quick and then we'll get to the WrestleMania card. Starting off with the triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Ricochet is going to defend the title against Humberto and Garza. Should be a good match. I'm going to go with Ricochet. Ricochet's the Intercontinental Champion. He just won the belt. So I'm going to say Ricochet will pull off the victory. The other match that has been advertised for tonight is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. These are, at the time of this recording, the participants that have been announced for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Apollo Crews, Commander Aziz, the Viking Raiders, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Robert Roode, Jinder Mahal, Shanky, R-Truth, Mansoor, Madcap Moss, Reggie, Drew Gulak, and Akira Tozawa. This has been, for the most part, a battle royal where the heel usually wins this. So I'm going to say that Madcap Moss wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I find it interesting, but also at the same time disappointing that neither the United States title nor the Intercontinental title will be on the line at WrestleMania this year. You know, you kind of figured they're both staples of WrestleMania, especially the Intercontinental title, and that neither one of those titles are going to be defended on WrestleMania this year. But it is time to go to the big card for WrestleMania 38, a two-night event. Saturday and Sunday, 8 p.m. is the start time for both shows. So I'm going to go in reverse order by way of how they have this set. Or actually, no. How am I going to do this? I'm looking at this. It looks like they've figured out the Saturday matches and the Sunday matches. So I think that's how we'll do it, is we'll go with the matches for Saturday, and then we'll go with the matches on Sunday. So to kick it off is the Smackdown Tag Team Championship. The Usos will defend the titles against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. The Usos have had those belts for, I think, well over 200 days was the number that I heard. And Nakamura and Boogs, they've been very popular. They've been a very popular act, of course. With Shinsuke, we've been through this dance before where he's been, in a very popular gimmick, very popular character, and then you get to WrestleMania and then they kind of drop the ball. I'm hoping WWE does not drop the ball on this one. I think Shinsuke and Boogs are going to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Alright, next match is Drew McIntyre against Happy Corbin. This has been this has been building up for a long time, and we're now to this point. I'm gonna say Drew wins. I think this is gonna be the end of the feud. I think Drew McIntyre is going to win this match, and I see it being the end of the rivalry. Tag team action will see Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston of the New Day against Sheamus and Ridge Holland. I think we all know by now this was originally going to be a 6-man tag match with the New Day against Sheamus, Holland, and Pete Dunne, or Butch. I'm going to go with the New Day on this one. I think they're going to give us a feel-good moment here, and I'm going to say the New Day win this match. The Mysterios are going to team up to face The Miz and Logan Paul, the first of our 2 celebrity matches at WrestleMania this year. This just seems like it's going to be the Mysterios winning this one. It really does. And look, I'm just going to say this. What in the world has happened with The Miz the last few WrestleManias? He had the really good match with Shane McMahon at 35. Didn't participate in 36 because, of COVID, and there were thoughts that maybe he did have it, but thankfully he didn't. Last year, he was in that tag match with Bad Bunny, which was really good. And again, this year, he's in another celebrity match at WrestleMania with Logan Paul. Hey, remember when Miz kept talking about how he won the main event of WrestleMania? Yeah, that was 11 years ago. Just wanted to remind you. Seth Rollins is going to face a mystery opponent of Mr. McMahon's choosing, and we will all know this Saturday night. I am going with the mystery opponent for this match. Obviously, the popular pick is Cody Rhodes to be the mystery opponent, but I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here. I think it is going to be Gable Stevenson, the wrestler from the University of Minnesota who just won another national championship, retired from amateur wrestling. I think this is going to be his debut at WrestleMania. I mean, stranger things have happened, folks, but you never know. I think this is going to be Gable Stevenson making his WrestleMania debut. Obviously, we're going to have the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the 2 women's matches. Becky Lynch to defend the Raw Women's title against Bianca Belair. Look, I would love to see Bianca win back the women's title. I think she's definitely earned it. But after what happened on Raw this past Monday night, I think Becky is going to retain the Raw Women's title. And what is, in my opinion, the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania, Charlotte Flair defending the SmackDown Women's title against Ronda Rousey. Rousey won the Women's Royal Rumble, so she got to pick who she challenges, and she chose Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. I'm going with Ronda Rousey to win the SmackDown Women's title. Now to the matches on Sunday. Going to start off with Johnny Knoxville against Sami Zayn in an anything goes match. This might be the comedy match of WrestleMania this year, which I don't have a problem with in a weird way. I'm going to go with Johnny Knoxville. I think, if you're going to pick between either Logan Paul or Johnny Knoxville as far as which celebrity is going to get a win at WrestleMania, I'm going to say it's going to be Johnny Knoxville. I think Johnny's going to get the win at WrestleMania. Pat McAfee is going to take on Austin Theory. I'm going to go with Pat on this one. I don't think they're going to let Pat McAfee lose at WrestleMania. I just don't. I think it would be a little weird if Pat did lose, but I kind of see Pat McAfee winning this one. Bobby Lashley is going to go one-on-one with the newest rapper, Omos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video up last night of Omos rapping. He doesn't sound that bad, actually, rapping. I'm going to say Lashley wins this one. If Omos were to win, it would be a huge win, considering he beat a former WWE champion and someone that was WWE champion at WrestleMania last year. So, but I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley on this one. Triple threat match for the Raw Tag Team titles. RK Bro will defend against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. This one could be a sleeper for the best match of the weekend for WrestleMania. I'm going to say we're going to have new tag champions here. I think Alpha Academy are going to regain the Raw Tag Team titles. Then we have a fatal four-way for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Queen Zelina and Carmella are going to defend the titles against Sasha Banks and Naomi, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and Natalya and Shayna Baszler. I think we're going to get another title change. I think we're going to get new Women's Tag Team Champions, and I think it is going to be Sasha Banks and Naomi that get the victory on this one. Edge will go one-on-one with AJ Styles. This one should be a really good match. This is one that I'm definitely looking forward to. This is going to be interesting to see because it could either be, Edge wins and then we get another match down the line, or AJ wins and that's just it. I'm not really sure how it's going to go. So I'm going to say AJ Styles gets the victory over Edge. And the main event for night 2 of WrestleMania, and this is the big one. This is a winner-take-all championship unification match. Brock Lesnar, the WWE Champion, against Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion. It has been a strange road to get to this particular match. Obviously, there was a big bump in the road with day 1 when Roman did have COVID. Changed a lot of plans for a lot of people this WrestleMania. But we've finally gotten into the match that they had wanted all along. And this is tough because whoever wins this, I think, is going to be the right choice. There is no wrong choice on this one. So I'm going to say Brock wins this one. I think he's going to be the one that beats Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned in over a year and a half, maybe longer. I think, yeah. So I think Roman is going to lose this one. Brock's going to win and be the unified champion. Okay, I kind of wanted to end this on a fun note because it is WrestleMania weekend, and I posted this on our Facebook group. So I asked our Facebook group, we got a couple of responses to this. What are your traditions when you watch WrestleMania? Going to read a couple of responses. Richard Perro wrote that he and a few friends get together and order some pizza. And Jason Burke, who we've had on our show multiple times, says that he goes to a friend's house with food and beer. Of course, now that WrestleMania is 2 nights, he picks whichever night has the better card because he can't sit through 2 nights of WWE. Very good, Jason. My tradition for WrestleMania, it kind of varies. There are some years where I'll have friends come over to watch WrestleMania with me. Obviously, I don't do it with the 2 nights because Lord knows what you're going to get from both nights. But before then, a few times I would have friends come over. We'd order out some food and we'd watch the show. And that's kind of what I do in the past. And just have a really, really good time. Okay, I want to get to the plugs. If you guys have any questions or comments, send an email. WrestlingMan@ThatWrestlingShow.com. Follow the show on Twitter @WrestlingShow11. Follow the show on Instagram @ThatWrestlingShow. And join our Facebook group, That Wrestling Show Fan Group, where we have over 500 members. I want to send a couple of plugs of activities and stuff that I have done throughout this week. Earlier this week, this popped up, Tripped Up Trivia. I was a guest on that this week. Myself and a bunch of awesome people were on doing wrestling trivia. Go check that out. That is Tripped Up Trivia. The link is actually up on our Facebook group. If you guys have not heard it, go check it out. It is Tripped Up Trivia. Also, check out the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. We did 2 shows this week where we did our predictions for WrestleMania. This was before a couple of matches were added. Plus, we looked at the WWE Hall of Fame, the class of 2022. We gave it our grade for the entire class of the WWE Hall of Fame. So check that out. That is the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. Also check out Bill Learns Kingdom Hearts. Season 3 started this past Sunday. Myself and Jim, we go through Kingdom Hearts, and I have started Kingdom Hearts 2. This is going to be a long season. I'm going to give everyone a warning. It's going to be a long season, so check it out. Bill Learns Kingdom Hearts. A new episode will be popping up this Sunday. And don't forget to check out Sharks Pond, a South Park podcast where I watch and review each and every South Park episode. This week, I review the Season 15 episode, Crack Baby Athletic Association. And you're going to listen, and you're going to hear why I was mad and offended, actually, by this episode the first time I ever watched that episode. So check it out this week on Sharks Pond, a South Park podcast. All right, next week it is going to be Review Mania. Tonight, I'll be recording this tonight, and it'll probably be up this weekend. I'm going to be doing alternate commentary with Mark Radulich of Ring of Honor's Super Card of Honor alternative commentary tonight. Probably will be up at some point during the weekend. That's going to be my guess. So we're going to do the commentary tonight, and then we'll have the audio up at some point. Probably over the weekend is going to be my guess. So anyway, next week it's going to be Review Mania, going to review Ring of Honor, going to review NXT, going to review WrestleMania, going to go through the news from, this weekend and so much more. And that's basically what is in store for next week. So everyone, have a good, safe weekend. If you are in Dallas for WrestleMania, have fun, have an awesome time, and come back next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And as always, wrestle on!